On a hot night at the Losail International Circuit in Qatar, the spotlight of the MotoGP world focused on a fierce duel unfolding on the track. Amidst the flash of lights and the roar of engines, an intriguing narrative emerged from the Ducati Lenovo time garage. Francesco Bagnaia, the two-time defending champion, once again blamed the fuel tank for his poor performance in the Qatar Grand Prix sprint. His eighth-place finish in the short race was an anticlimax for the Italian rider who had dazzled in Friday's practice sessions. What exactly transpired? How did this technical issue affect Bagnaia's performance, and what are the implications for the 2025 championship hunt? Let's delve into this story with the perspective of a MotoGP enthusiast hungry for detail and drama. Friday in Qatar was supposed to be Bagnaia's stage to showcase why he is one of the best riders on the grid. With the Ducati Desmosedici GP 25 proven to be the most competitive machine on the track, Pecco set an impressive pace, positioning himself as a strong candidate for pole position. His speed and confidence were evident as he danced across the asphalt of Losail, mastering the technical turns with near-perfect precision. Even in the presence of his teammate Marc Marquez, a living legend with 8 world titles, Bagnaia appeared unwavering. Observers began envisioning an epic duel between these two Ducati riders, with a podium or even a victory within reach. However, as often happens in MotoGP, race weekends are a three-dimensional chess game. Speed in practice does not always guarantee race day results, and for Bagnaia, Saturday became a pivotal and bitter day. Qualifying sessions in Qatar proved to be a turning point for Bagnaia, but not in the way he had hoped. In the final stages of Q2, while sitting in 9th place, a small yet fatal incident occurred. Pecco admitted that something didn't go as expected on his first run, forcing him to push harder on subsequent laps to make up time. Entering turn 4, he lost control after entering too fast, sending his bike into the gravel. This crash not only shattered his chances for pole position, but also relegated him to 11th place on the grid, a nightmare for a rider striving to defend his title. Bagnaia's post-qualifying comments reflected his deep disappointment, yet also his honesty as a rider. "I entered turn 4 a bit too fast and lost control. It was my mistake," he said, but behind this admission lay a greater sense of frustration, something related to feeling that his bike wasn't fully aligned with his style. And here is where the fuel tank issue started to surface. The sprint race on Saturday night was Bagnaia's chance to redeem himself after the qualifying setback. However, what transpired only deepened his crisis. Starting from 11th, Pecco struggled to break into the front pack. On a notoriously difficult track for overtaking, he could only manage an 8th-place finish, more than 10 seconds behind Marc Marquez, who brilliantly won the sprint. For a rider of Bagnaia's caliber, this result wasn't just disappointment, it was a harsh blow. After the race, Bagnaia didn't hesitate to point to the fuel tank as the primary culprit for his issues. According to him, the tank used for the sprint race, different due to its shorter duration, significantly altered his bike's balance. The only difference was the fuel tank, he stated firmly. "We need a small improvement." He explained that this change made it difficult for him to overtake, especially under braking, one of his strengths on the track. To understand Bagnaia's complaints, we need to look at the technical side of MotoGP. The smaller fuel tank for sprint races is designed to reduce the bike's weight, but this change also affects weight distribution and the center of gravity. For riders like Bagnaia, who rely on aggressive braking and stability when entering corners, even the slightest change can feel like a chasm. This isn't the first time Bagnaia has complained about this issue. Over the past 3 seasons, he has often cited difficulty in overtaking as a consistent weakness in sprint races. But what makes this story compelling is the contrast between Bagnaia's sprint performance and his confidence for the main race on Sunday. "I'm more confident for tomorrow because I know my potential and speed can be much stronger," he said. He explained that in the Grand Prix, with a full fuel tank, his bike feels more suited to his style, allowing him to overtake more easily. "On Sunday, the feeling is completely different," he added, with a tone that reflected both hope and frustration. Behind the technical issues lies another layer that makes Bagnaia's narrative so compelling: the psychological pressure as a defending champion. With Marc Marquez as a teammate and direct rival, every mistake Bagnaia makes is magnified under the spotlight. Marquez, with his legendary racing experience and instinct, seems able to adapt to the same technical challenges that tripped up Bagnaia. Marquez's victory in the sprint was a strong statement. Even with the same bike, a rider's approach and mentality can make a significant difference. Bagnaia himself acknowledged the psychological impact of this poor result. "This is the main thing that makes me more angry," he said, referring to his inability to overtake in the sprint despite knowing he could do so in the main race. This frustration isn't just directed at the bike or the team, but also at himself, a rider who knows he has the potential to dominate, but is hindered by small details beyond his control. The results in Qatar also have direct consequences for the championship hunt. Coming into the weekend trailing the points leader by 12 points, Bagnaia now finds himself 21 points behind after scoring only 2 points in the sprint. While he tries to see the positives, considering 2 points better than 0, he cannot ignore the reality that such results are insufficient to compete with Marquez, who seems increasingly comfortable with Ducati. "For sure, for the future, we need to improve because it's impossible to finish 8th when you're fighting against riders like Marc," he said with a realistic tone. This statement shows Bagnaia's awareness of the challenges he faces, not just technically, but also strategically. In a championship hunt, every point is precious, and Qatar serves as a reminder that even a rider of Bagnaia's caliber is not immune to bad days. Despite facing disappointment, Bagnaia hasn't lost his humor and ambition. When asked about his strategy for the Grand Prix from 11th position, he jokingly said, "Tomorrow I will overtake 10 races in 1 lap. I will try." A new record. Behind this jest lies a strong determination to turn the tide. Qatar may be a tough chapter for him, but it also serves as a reminder that the 2025 season has just begun. With 20 races still ahead, there is plenty of time for Pecco to prove he is still the king atop Ducati. And for us, the fans, dramas like this are the fuel that keeps us watching, anticipating the next twist both on and off the track. Hey MotoGP fans, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest action.